No, as we have more access to technology, webcams and such, and the fact that we're back to paper magic, we might start catching more and more MTG cheaters. So I was woken up this morning to an interesting case of someone named Gonzalo Serrano.
Jugar el este.
Sí,
Oh, the volume is a little bit too much for me. The formatting really sucks. The video was posted vertically, not horizontally, but it's enough to see what's going on. All right, so let's take a look at it. Pay attention to the guy with the fetch land. He's gonna fetch, and he's gonna shuffle cheat. You better believe he's gonna go for it. Let me see. He cuts his opponent's deck. That's good. Just make sure your opponent doesn't cheat against you. Okay, fetch. There's a Spreading Seas on the bottom of the library. Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas is still on the bottom of the library. Spreading Seas is still on the bottom of the library. And he's shuffling face up. And now it goes underneath. Did you see that? Did you see that weird shuffle? Oh, he's wiggling the cards to from the bottom to the top. Wiggle the cards to the bottom to the top. And now he's gonna shuffle, keep the Spreading Seas on top. It was very interesting because his opponent bobbled him, so it gave a pretty good excuse to not cut the deck. He was distracted. Don't cut the deck. He wanted to bobble first, and then, well, then completely forget about it. Now he's about to see the doom. There's a Spreading Seas in his hand now. Plays a land for the turn and Spreading Seas, yeah. That's how it's done. So what do people call this? The vampiric fetch? Because of vampiric tutor, except that you're just fetching? Fetch lands are more broken than we think. Maybe we gotta ban the fetch lands to prevent the cheaters from abusing them. Pioneer, most fair format. No vampiric fetching whatsoever. Yeah, shuffles face up now. Digs the cards from the bottom to the top. Disgusting. Disgusting. And again, what a complete idiot to do it on camera. You know, I don't know. It's not like they're gonna learn anything. The demonic fetch. I think it's like vampiric because vampiric tutor puts the card on top of your library, right? How do we enter a tournament now since DCI are no longer in use? Well, I think they merged the DCI with Wizards of the Coast or something like that. They just merged the whole thing because DCI numbers are still a thing, but it's now like your wizard. It's part of your Wizards account or something like that. I don't know. I've lost track. I haven't played much Paper Magic, so I don't know exactly what the hell is going on. Anyway, okay, welcome to Coffee and MTG. You know, the morning show where, you know, we talk magic, we BS around. We love this show. This is a great show. But you know what's even better than this show? Sponsors. Because it keeps the show running. Fusion Gaming Online, the deal of the week this week. This is the last day for this, I'm sure. Save 20% off all Dungeons & Dragons inventory. That's sexy Dungeons & Dragons stuff. The board game, the lunchbox if there is one, the coloring book. Go get your Dungeons & Dragons merch at, or what do I call this? Dungeons & Dragons stuff. I don't even know what to call this. You know, it's hard for me to sell Dungeons & Dragons when I don't actually play Dungeons & Dragons. But anyway, if you're a D&D Dragon Master, or no, it's DM stands for Dungeon Master, right? Not. I always thought it was Dragon Master. Shows what I know about Dungeons & Dragons. Use coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases. And we'll also not forget about Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. It's cheaper, it's a bandless saver, and you get to play more of decks, and you get that competitive edge. When there's a breakout deck, you get to play that deck when you're renting the decks over and over again with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. Okie dokie. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mareep, Albert, Tybell, Joseph, Georges. Or is this just George? Darwin, Kaya, Thomas, Trevor, Antonio, Freestyle, Lord Magicus, Olaf the Snowman, Aaron, Ventric. Good morning, MTG, Raz, and Tommy. Oh, I missed an opportunity. I've got like sort of a soundboard going on here. Let's try to do this again. Let's do this again. So, wow, found the spreading seas. Unbelievable. Hold on, what else can I use here? Oh, I know. Okay, so he cuts his opponent's deck, fetches. Looking through his deck. Whatever, no big deal. And then he's gonna shuffle the bottom card to the top. Oh! That's cheating! There we go. I gotta figure out how to use the soundboard better. I'll figure it out. Did we get the story yet about the title? I arrived a bit late. What happened? Alright, well, I know probably people are gonna ask about this a million times. We might as well watch it quite a few times. So what ends up happening is this guy's gonna use the old vampiric fetch. Where he's gonna crack his fetch land. Cracks the fetch land. There's a spreading seas on the bottom of the deck. You can see the deck because he's holding it face up, for crying out loud. You know, only the cheaters will do that. Then now you just shuffled it to the top. He just shuffled. We can do that instant replay. Let's go back. Shuffles it to the top. It's sort of hard to tell when he's taking the chunks of cards from the bottom and then putting on the top right there. It's a bit difficult to see. And also the formatting of this video is atrocious. Why would you post it vertically like this? Should never be done. You should always post your things horizontally. And he draws the spreading seas. Drew the spreading seas. Unbelievable. Someone call the DCI. Someone call somebody. Anyway, that's the situation. Caught. Red-handed. Super red-handed. D-Tie Gaming. Good morning, Nikachu. I crushed the store championship. Oh, nice. Over the weekend, didn't lose a game during the Swiss. Got first seat and won the finals after mulling down to 5 against 4-color control. Amazing. Amazing. Love it. I love hearing the stories like this. I do know what? I didn't, you know, maybe I wasn't really paying attention, but I didn't know the store championships were going on this weekend. I know a lot of people, basically a lot of people were absent from watching the stream. Also, like streaming, it was sort of a dead weekend overall. There was a lot less people in the modern challenge than usual. There's like 100 people and usually there's 130. KBG, how would you recommend the Magic community to push Pioneer even harder for Arena? With Historic becoming more like Hearthstone, I don't want to play it anymore. I mean, I don't think the community can do anything, to be honest. I think the community has no leverage here. It just comes down to money and resources, and if Wizards doesn't want to push Arena the way they don't want to push Pioneer that they want to push the other formats, then it's just not going to happen. So you're going to get Pioneer when they give you Pioneer. You know, we're going to get there when we get there. But I don't think they have any leverage. I mean, you can cry all you want. They'll get to it like 3 years from now. But maybe we're closer than we think. Like, we don't know how close they are. Tybell, anyone else have to do Swiss rounds then do a single elimination draft for their store championship? That sounds very unusual. But not impossible. Not impossible. Embidex, why don't you play D&D? I play enough games. You know, between Magic and chess, and sometimes like some Switch games, I'd rather. I'm full. I'm full. So I have the approach. I want to play very few games and get really good at them, than to play all the games and be really shitty at them. That's my approach to life. You got to be focused. When you're focused, you're gonna get good. And I like being good at games. I prefer to be the one winning than the one losing. I know in D&D, you all win or you all lose. Also, like, D&D doesn't sound like the game for me. I like it when one person wins and another one loses. That's the type of game I like. That's a good game. Jermaine, is there a suggested way to buy a matching playset of a card? I find that a lot of sellers online only have 1 or 2 of a card instead of a full playset. There's like no good way. I mean, you gotta like get a few cards from one place, get a few cards from the other place to get the matching playset. No other way to do it. You mean, if you're talking about like paper cards, like, Yeah, it's a problem. Damn it, they only have 2 cards in inventory of this art. They only have another 2 of another art. There's no good way to do it. I mean, the way I do it, I mean, if you don't need it immediately, you get the card that you want, and then you just, if you were just buying from like one store, then go on the wait list for when they get the inventory again. You have to buy it slowly. So if you can't get it all, you just can't get it all. Witherfang cheaters are disgusting. If you feel that way to need to cheat in order to win, you're either a shitty bad player, or your deck is too inconsistent bad. And I think, if I understand the lore correctly, this control player on the bottom lost anyway. Where is it? Here, no, not here. Apparently something shady, supposedly something shady happens here, but I don't think so. Because he cuts his own deck a few times. Like, even here he cut the deck. Like, I don't think anything... the first time was a clear shadiness. But I don't see any... I can't tell if anything happened there. Maybe something happened. And it's just too clean... or I can't see it properly. Where's the sportsmanship video? He, like... throws his cards on the table in disgust. Anything else? No, I can't find it. But he lost anyway. From what I can see. Because the opponent had like 1,000,000 creatures on the battlefield. He had nothing. Can I find this thing? Or whatever, I can't find it. Anyway, okay, moving on. Mareep, which is the bigger sin, this cheater or the video format? Oh man, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. When you got evidence, can you please post it cleanly? Why would anyone post it vertically like it's a fucking TikTok or something? Come on. It just makes it hard. Like, and I think it scales down the resolution too, which makes the evidence more blurry, which is not good. Not good. Venture came 3rd place in the store championships. Love it. There was audio, but it's really loud. I wonder if he kind of tricked him when he presented his deck by saying resolve ball. Probably. Well, there probably is no audio at the table, but there was commentator audio. Okay, says, me too. I crashed the... oh, you crushed. You crushed the championship 10-0. Tagged you on Twitter. Promos are absolute Pringles. Wow. And I've seen some of the promos, the holo stamp foil is like completely misaligned. Quality, people. That's just quality these days in 2021. 27 Noetic. Has Veil of Summer dropped off due to Solitude Prismatic ending, or is it just underutilized? Yes, Prismatic, solid, basically a lot of the removals white and red. So Prismatic ending, Solitude, Fury, Unholy Heat... well, Teferi Time Raveler gets hit by Veil of Summer, but you can't use it in response. Anyway, that's the deal. Yeah, that's the deal. A lot of the removal is white and red. It's still a very strong card, but harder to use. Way harder to use. What do you think of the counterspells in the far out secret lair? Never heard of it. Oh, is it far out, man? You're going to far out, man. $30 for all that. What is all that? I'm gonna wait. We're gonna find out and see. This almost looks like that computer-generated AI art. All right, we got Ether Gust, Counterspell. Which one is this one? This one's Ether Gust. This one's Counterspell. I think the next one's Fabricate. What else do we have? Factor, Fiction, and Mystical Tutor. Counterspell. I like this. I mean, I like the art. I think that's a pretty cool art for Counterspell. It's not bad. Do they have... Can we see the whole picture? Like, can we see the actual card? There we go. Ooh, that's a nice Mystical Tutor. There's the Ether Gust. There's the counterspell. Sweet. Very nice full art card. Very nice. It's got my seal of approval. What else do we got here? Tybell, my store gave out trophies for top 3 in the store championship. 3rd place didn't feel so bad. Oh, nice. We got to bring trophies back to tournaments. Not that, well, like, I mean, technically, if you do well in a tournament, you should get a trophy. Anyway, I think trophies are cool. I think it's a way of getting people to play out their top 8 as well. What did I miss? I just quit my job, hopefully for the better. But you'll see in the replay, someone was shuffle cheating. Or they did the vampiric fetch. They did the classic vampiric fetch. I didn't make this term. My comment section made this term. Can Arden and Grafted War Gear equip to opponents multiple creatures at the beginning of combat to destroy them? Oh god. Can Arden... At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to target permanent or player. Partner. Can Arden and Grafted War equip opponents multiple creatures? I don't think so, because equipment is... You're not allowed to equip your opponent's creatures. Sort of a... So, when it means, like, target creature here, it means one creature you control. It's like to target permanent or a player. Or does that matter? To target permanent at the beginning of your upkeep. Auras or equipment. I think the targets still need to be legal. I'm sure War Gear is like... it's one of those things that damage the creature. Whenever Grafted War Gear becomes unattached from a permanent, sacrifice that permanent. I think the target still needs to be legal. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure the target needs to be legal. Simple as that. And you can't put the equipment on your opponent's creatures. So you can destroy all your creatures if you want. But anyway. Jason, do you think Modern is the top format in Magic? Absolutely, 100%. Not even a shred of doubt in my mind. I mean, well... I don't know the arena numbers. It's possible that Standard on Arena is more popular than Modern. I just know, based historically, what the turnouts have been at Grand Prix, what Modern versus Legacy or Standard looks like, and Modern is by far and large the most popular format. And it's basically the new Legacy. It's basically the new Legacy that will be supported from here on out. So if you love Legacy, then you're gonna love Modern. If you're not cheating, do you even care enough? Well, that you care too. Well, the thing is, you care too much for yourself, but not everybody else. Are the waterlogged groves doing good work or bad work? And I'm sure you're talking about merfolk. And they're doing okay. They're doing okay. They're doing fine. Sometimes I hate taking damage from the damn things. Fun fact, you can unpringle foils with heat. There's a lot of different methods to unpringle the foils. I'm not familiar with this one. Be careful how you unpringle the foils, though. What are your sleeves of choice? Currently running Dragon Shield matte sleeves. I am not devoted to any sleeve, though. I could play anything. You hear that? You hear that, Ultimate Guard? You want to sponsor this channel? I could say, when I get this question, I'll be like, I love Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is the best sleeve on the face of the earth. But no, I'm not being sponsored by any sleeve people. So right now I'm just using Dragon Shields. Similarly, execute the cheater. It's... Hey, no, we do not propose violence. And by execute, you mean maybe ban? I can approve of that. Casper Soul, I believe Ponza would be really good right now with all the Urza Sagas, Ink Moths, and Tron lands around. It's not... It's not bad. Ponza probably isn't too bad. But the thing is, there aren't that many Tron lands. And also, there's another thing. Okay, so we could talk about that a little bit. What Urza Saga decks are there? Think about that. There's Hammer Time. There's like Jund Saga. Basically, these Saga decks, they're really mana efficient. They're really low to the ground. So even if you blow up the Urza Saga, you gotta deal with the rest of their plan, which is really mana efficient. And I don't know if the Ponza deck plays well against it. So that's my problem with this Ponza plan. There's some advantages, I think, to Blood Moon in the format against these decks, but a lot of the Urza Saga decks are really fast and low to the ground. And Urza Saga is just their, like, mid-range game plan. Erwin says, the worm coil was a Pringle. You gotta get into the potato chip business. Wizards of the Coast just preparing to be selling snacks at the Friday Night Magic local game stores. Why let Wizards let you buy from, like, actual Pringles when they can make their own Pringles? Read the counterspell fluff texts. If only there were a way to counter your inevitable whining. Wow. It's like basically, it's like I don't know, it's a burn they're expecting to happen. You counter their spell, and then they're like, oh my god, another counter spell? If only there was a way to counter your inevitable whining. If only. How come you don't play counterspell in Merfolk? Is it no good? Oh, it's good. Just don't have room. You need to have a balance of mana efficient counterspells, and also it's double blue, so I mean if you're running Cavernous Souls, Mutavault, it can be difficult to play counterspell. I'm not running those, but I have enough counterspells between like right now the build I'm playing plays Archmage's Charm, Force Negation. I like Mystical Dispute. You gotta have some counterspells at 1 mana or you're really screwed. 27 Noetic. Removal is so white recently that I noticed people running 8.5 tails. I don't know what this card is. Olaf the Snowman. I've been playing Curse Catcher in the 1-drop slot. Works well, better than Benthic Biomancer in the current meta. Probably. Not thrilled with Benthic Biomancer, but almost find it a pseudo-necessary evil. I think that text is there for the auras. Probably. Yeah, the when you try to equip an equipment, it's got to be on your own creature. You're not allowed to equip your opponent's creatures with your equipment. Cemetery Gatekeeper and Tribal Modern. I keep hearing this card. What do you do? Oh, this thing. I think this card sucks. It's just a... What is it? It's like a bad... Hold on. First strike. Enters the battlefield. Exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card... card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. I don't know. I think it's crap. I think it's crap. It doesn't actually do anything. Your opponent needs to walk into it, right? So I think it's just garbage. It's fancy trash. But hold on. Actually, the question was, is it good in tribal? So could it be good in vampires? Maybe if it is like some weird graveyard hate with the upside of being first strike and has this other stupid ability attached to it, maybe it's fine. So if its purpose is, I don't know, graveyard hate in the sideboard, then maybe it's okay. If the graveyard hate part is good enough. If it's not good enough, the whole card is useless. Artem can attach equipment to opponent's creatures. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras. You can have 2 commander auras and equipments you control to target opponent or player. This doesn't tell me that Arden can do that at all. There's nothing on this card that says so. as far as I'm concerned. Did you see the Golgari food deck that won yesterday's Innistrad Championship played by Yuki Ichikawa? It's historic, but still pretty nice. I did not see it. I don't follow any of the other formats other than Modern for the most part. Any way to send fan mail to you? DM me on Twitter and Facebook, and we can make something, and we can work something out. Yes, but yes, you can. That's how I got. Do I have that that Wander One hub still around? Someone sent me a foil Wander One hub. It's gorgeous. Daniel, I'm on Is It Prowess and played several times versus Black-Red Luris decks this weekend. I found their Kolaghan's Command was a problem. What counterspell should I play in my board? Miscast? Yuck. No, you should play with more card advantage. You don't necessarily need a counterspell. I mean, you could run Dispel if you really want to run a counterspell. They normally play counterspell and Spell Pierce, right? I think that's what they... Oh, no, I'm thinking of Murktide. Ah, I see your problem. You're not playing Murktide. You're playing Is It Prowess. Yeah, they got a lot of removal. They got a lot of removal, don't they? So your best bet is flood the board with creatures and get that Stormwing entity out so that they can't deal with it. The thing is, you don't really want to play with counterspells because you want to be playing your Prowess plan. You want to be pumping up your Prowess creatures. So it's awkward to be playing counterspells in your deck. But if you really want a catch-all card that deals with almost all their like removal and threats, with the exception of Thoughtseize and Inquisition, play Dispel. But it's not great in a Prowess deck because that's a reactive card. And generally, when you have a bunch of Prowess creatures, you want to go for the kill. You just want to empty your hand. Although, in theory, I guess you could counter one of your own spells. Edlos, do you think it's worth replacing some of the forest and mono green Tron with canopy lands? I've seen some lists running Nurturing Peatland. I think they ran Nurturing Peatland because they were actually like a green-black deck, weren't they? But either way, it is somewhat worth it. Just make sure you still have some forest, because if you don't have any forest, then you're actually screwed to Blood Moon. Thoughts on mono green Tron with or without Karn the Great Creator? I think with Karn the Great Creator is almost always better. You're playing without it. Probably the metagame's not very good for Tron. Gem Mint MTG. Played my first paper Modern tournament this weekend. It was a lot of fun. Awesome. Placed 10th out of like 30. The decks were very diverse. 5 rounds. I never played against the same deck twice. Excellent. That's Modern for you. Did you reset the... I think I reset it last Friday. So it should be good to go for today. With Ponza, you want to hit the non-Urza Saga lands? Okay. That makes some sense to me. But still, it's a pretty mana-efficient deck overall. I have to see it play out. I could see it work, though. Yeah, they go like turn 1 Ragavan, and you go like... Oh, but they still get to hit with the Ragavan, and that's mana too. Okay, they go turn 1 Dragon Rage Chandler. I can see like those Saga decks still winning through a Ponza deck. They've got resources, but I could also see it them getting screwed once in a while. I can't find your Ether Vial video anymore because I unlisted it. If you want, DM me and I'll like DM me somewhere. And I'll get you the link to the video if you want. Yeah, I cut away a lot of old videos on my main channel. So the Ether Vial video is gone. Maybe I should repost it somewhere else. Kai, I want to update my Death Shadow deck, but I don't have Ragavans, and I don't really want to buy them. Should I just suck it up and buy them, or no? Yes. Well... Okay, if you don't want to buy them, then just don't buy them. What you can do is you can play, like, the Prowess Shadow deck, right? With, like, Death... I don't know exactly what your Death Shadow deck looks like, but, I mean, Swift Spear is still a hell of a card, and it actually, in some ways, beats the, Ragavan. But I could definitely see a reliable deck between Swift Spear, Dragon Rage Chandler, and Death Shadow. So... if you want to play a budget card that is still really powerful in a Death Shadow deck, go with Swift Spear. Do Do you think Ragavan or Prismatic Ending will get banned? I do not think Prismatic Ending is getting banned anytime soon. Ragavan is going to be with us for quite a while. Although I think that is much more likely ban target. But the metagame is just too diverse for them to ban anything. If anything, Ragavan is going to be like Uro, where it was a metagame. You could play it. It wasn't that bad. Sure, it's pretty powerful, and maybe they'll deal with it later, but we're going to live with it for now. Will MTG make a secret lair Pringle just to troll people? Probably. How is Affinity in the current meta? Seem the hate cards like Case, Karn the Great Creator, and Stony Silence are real beaters. Yeah, but they're not too prevalent. Although I don't know, I still think there is a little bit of artifact hate because of the Hammer Time deck, but for the most part, I think Affinity is okay. It's okay. It's an okay spot, but not great. Is Aetherfell still good, or you need more no creature spells? Overall, Aetherfell is still good, but it really sucks having Aetherfell on the play versus control, and it really sucks just to have it against any Thoughtseize deck right now. Cemetery Gatekeeper just drove me when I was playing free artifacts. Is it good versus Affinity? I don't know. Like, you needed to get an artifact in the graveyard first, right? I mean, I guess you're going to get a Mishra's Bauble or something. So maybe you can still kill it. Like, that's the thing. You can still kill it, even in an artifact deck. Play your Galvanic Blast on this damn thing. It's 1 toughness. What are the odds of a merfolk appearing in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty? 0%. As far as I know, there are no merfolk on Kamigawa, which is weird. Spencer Ward, what do you think of Merfolk Windrobber in this meta? A bit too double-edged to justify the versatility. It's terrible. It is so bad. It is a terrible card in this metagame. This is the worst. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player mills a card. Like, I want to... Do I really want to be helping the Croxes and the Dragon Rage Chandlers and all this other stuff? I don't know, maybe I gotta play it. The whole milling a card thing sucks. It would be great. Oh, but the problem is you can only draw a card if they have 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Anyway. 2 thumbs down on Merfolk Windrobber. You can only equip your own creatures with your own equipment unless you steal their equipment. Yeah, that's right. But then you control the equipment. Boros Prowess with Lumimancer and some other white spells is viable? Probably not. And there's probably just too much removal in the format right now for these Prowess decks. I mean, in addition, oh man, we got Prismatic Ending, we got Unholy Heat, we got Fatal Push, in addition to Lightning Bolt. It's weird, Lightning Bolt is getting pushed out of the format. It's literally getting pushed, it's sort of getting pushed out of the format. I mean, it's still being played, but like, it's like the 3 of, and Unholy Heat is the 4 of. That is so weird. So weird. K-Command was a problem because it returned their Lurrus. That is a problem. Papa Joe, can counterspells be used as budget replacements for Archmage's Charm and Merfolk? If I don't have, I'm missing a couple of them, or should I use a different card? Yes, you can use something else. A lot of people have been asking me, I don't have Archmage's Charm. Can I use Force and Negation? Play Force and Negation. That absolutely works. Tybell says, Mystical Dispute was amazing for me last week. Protected my spell and was able to counter Primeval Titan when needed. Yeah, Mystical Dispute is a fun card. Really good versus the blue control decks. Giving you access to, like, a counter spell against a fairy for 1 mana. But you can just hard cast this thing for 3 mana. It's like a clunky mana leak. It works like that, too. Wasteland in Modern or no until Tron is tier 0? It would completely warp the format. It would suck I think it would suck a lot of the fun out of the format. But it would be playable, but it would completely warp the format. completely. All of a sudden playing all sorts of deck. Like, it would just eat up like 80-90% of the metagame. All of a sudden we'd just be on like black-red or black-blue shadow decks. Maybe black-blue because of, was it Cast Down? The enchantment that makes all the, everyone loses abilities. I think we're eventually going to see a shift with Alchemy to make us, the players, be the playtesters before printing in paper. Thoughts? No, I don't think so. I think Alchemy is a format where they want to push digital cards. They're already releasing some. So let's see what we can see on, what's it called? Mythic spoiler. What have they spoiled so far? So we got special card. This is the thing is, Wizards has already gotten into the printing digital cards deal, and now they just want to push that even further into its own official format that's like standard. Conductive Current deals 3 damage to each creature. Choose an instant or sorcery card in your hand. It perpetually gains if the spell would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player. It deals that much damage +2 instead. So they just want to push this digital-only format. And like I said, I think if it gets popular enough, it's going to replace Standard. It's going to replace Standard. Paper Standard will be like Commander. Something you play for fun with paper cards. And then if you want to get serious, you got to play the real Standard. Which is going to be this. What do we got here for 2 mana? A 1/1 flying at the beginning of your end step. Each dragon card in your hand perpetually gains. This spell costs 1 less to cast. Like, this is not a playtesting thing, right? We can playtest these cards all we want. They will never show up in paper. They will never show up in paper. Ah, Dress Down. That was what the card was called. Oh yeah, Ren. Well, Ren would just get banned if they printed Wasteland. So it's easy. We get Wasteland, and we get rid of the stupid Ren. Mikey J, at this point, is it safe to say Tron can never really be hated out? Maybe not enough time has passed, but you know what? It would appear that Tron has stood the test of time better than any other deck in Modern. And what a surprise! It gets to play with 7 mana by turn 3. What a surprise. Can you counter your own spells, though? I tried to in Magic the Gathering Online when I took the opponent's turn with a little Emrakul, and it wouldn't let me. You have to hold priority, and I don't remember how you have to... I think you have to hold control as you're casting a spell, and it won't give priority to your opponent, and then you can cast a spell on yourself. So the thing is, Magic the Gathering Online is automatically always giving priority to your opponent whenever you cast anything. But you need to hold priority, because the way the rules are is like whenever you cast a spell, the first person who's allowed to react is you who cast the spell. But we just shortcut to our opponent almost all the time. That's why in paper Magic you have to say, I'm holding priority, I'm going to cast this spell, and in response I'm going to do this to my own spell. Or I'm going to do these 2 things at the same time, basically. So if you want, you have to hold priority on Magic the Gathering Online if you want to counter your own stuff. You can do that. 1,000,000% legal. What are your thoughts on Modern Pawns in the current meta? Maybe has potential, because I think the red-green aggro deck has potential. I think Blood Moon is a bit undervalued in today's metagame. But still, you need good answers. You need, like, cheap, affordable answers for the hammer decks. I was on burn for my store championship and got 2 mirror matches in the first 2 rounds. Ooh, that's hot. When you both have Eidolon of the Great Revel out, that's a scary business. What are your thoughts on unbanning Green Sun Zenith and banning Amulet of Vigor instead? No, you can just have both. I think Titan Shift is a fair version of a Titan. Titan Shift is a fair version of a Titan deck? I agree. Yeah, I think Green Sun Zenith can come off the ban list. Doesn't make any sense. Do you think they will reprint Oboro and or Manamo in a new Kamigawa set? They will probably not. I get this question all the time. Will they reprint old card in the new set? No. Usually they don't do that. They will save Oboro for like Double Masters or something. They might print a new version of them, like Oboro, Metropolis in the clouds. So we could have Oboro, Metropolis in the clouds, and Minamo, I don't know, Scam University on Water's Edge or something like that. Is it worth splashing white and Merfolk for Prismatic Ending, or is that just a dumb idea? Well, I came up with that idea myself like a few days ago, so it can't be that stupid. But the problem is getting the mana base to work. So I still want... So I think it would be really convenient to have to do something on turn 1 that exiles fucking Ragavans and stuff like that. Ragavans and Dragon Rage Channelers. But I don't know if I can get the mana to work in my head just yet. But I'm working on it. I think it's worth trying. Brandon Ortiz, you think Ancient Stirrings will ever get banned? Because I sure hope not. I mean, in theory it could, because they banned Ponder and Preordain. And Ancient Stirrings really isn't... Like, it's better than those cards. It's just green. So it is possible Ancient Stirrings could get banned if, you know, the people controlling the ban list have this philosophy that, oh, the cantrips are the boogeyman! We gotta ban the cantrips! Which I think is nonsense. I think we can unban Ponder and Preordain. I think it's embarrassment to have those cards on the ban list. Why doesn't Arden specifically allow any permanent to be targeted? Are we still on this Arden thing? You may attach any number of auras and equipment you control to target permanents. I don't get it. It is sort of saying that, but the targets need to be legal. That's all. Why sorry, doesn't Arden specifically say any... Yeah, but the targets need to be legal. It doesn't matter what this card says. It's like I don't know how to put it. Like, the cards... in this case, the cards can't contradict each other. I think, if I understand the rules correctly, and I'm not a Commander rules lawyer, I know my rules better for Modern than I know for Commander. Jason, as an 8-rack player, Urza Saga and Mishra's Factor are amazing. Other than splashing a color, can you think of any other upgrades? No, you gotta splash the color. It's the only thing I can think of. It's not clear to me that Mishra's Factory is actually good in the deck if you play Urza Saga instead and then splash, because your mana might be really awkward. Trying to build Niv Mizzet Reborn in EDH. Recommendations for good Boros cards to add to the deck. I got nothing. Lightning Helix, I guess, but that's really bad in EDH. So I mean, okay, so my only tip is don't play with like single card. Make sure that every card that you play is doing big multiple things to multiple players. Like something like Lightning Helix is just very underwhelming. It's like super underwhelming. You're gonna get this thing where you're gonna damage your opponent for like 3 damage, you gain 3 life. So you gotta go for more, like I can't think of the cards because I don't know the commander. I don't know the inventory of commander cards that are out there, but make sure that it will do some effect to multiple people, multiple creatures. You got the idea. If you know good Boros cards, let us all know in chat. But what is it? Why does it matter that it's Boros? Or are you just, oh, you have good cards for all the other colors, but you don't have something on Boros? So in real life, Magic the Gathering Arena tournaments at my FNM? Well, no, can't you host FNM on MTG Arena? Like, isn't that a thing that already happens? the nide to split... I don't understand. The nudge to split historic? I don't think they're going to split historic. Historic is just going to be the same format, just with a bunch of digital cards in it now. Is standard a real format anymore? It is a real format. It's just an embarrassment compared to the other formats. Burn is better than Tron? I would disagree. I think Burn is like more of a meta deck than anything. Tron is always consistently good, no matter what. Okay, other players and permanents controlled by other players can be targeted by Arden's ability. It's only attaching, not equipping. Okay, we have to fucking get to the bottom of this or something. Arden, gather. Ah, good fucking god, there's a lot of words here. You choose which auras and equipment to move as Arden's ability resolves. Players can take actions between the time you choose what to move and the time they're attached to the target permanent or player. Other players and permanents controlled by other players can be targeted by Arden's ability. This can cause equipment under your control to be attached to a creature an opponent controls. All right, we got it. We got it right there. The rulings of Arden, intrepid archaeologist. So here's another example of like the rules contradicting each other, but gather will be the ultimate wisdom above all wisdom. So you can... We got to the bottom of this. What was the fucking card? War something graft? Let me just look up the graft. Okay, so you can move your grafted war gear all over the fucking place. If you want. We got it right here. And when your play group complains about it, you just show them this. Like I said, I wasn't 100% sure. You never know with Magic. Like, the rules contradict each other in arbitrary ways sometimes. This can cause equipment under your control to be attached to a creature an opponent controls. Or as an equipment that say you, still refer to you, as you control them. Arden's ability can't cause an aura equipment to be attached to something it couldn't be attached to. Look at that. We figured it out, boys and girls. We figured it out! We figured it out. And by we, I mean... No, it is me. I'm the only one who actually looked up the fucking ruling. The rest of you are all wishy-washy on the answer. Including me. Okie dokie. It's time for Decklist review. You familiar with this? You want to share a list with all of us? Go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. Enter the command. Go to the channel Decklist review. Enter the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your deck list. You'll be eligible at random for Decklist review. Just like... Who is it today? Who's our random... Snarf! Snarf is our lucky random viewer. It's going to get their list showcased on Decklist review. The review of all reviews. Oh, it's a Merfolk deck. Well, I know something about Merfolk decks. So we got Lord of Atlantis, Master of Waves. I was thinking about this. Master of Waves looks incredibly well positioned right now. With the exception of Solitude, but even then, they're going to 2-for-1 themselves. Like, if you want a prismatic ending this bitch, you need 4 different color sources. You can't hit this thing with the Unholy Heat. You can block rock. Well, trying to block Ragavan might not matter at this point of the game. Anyway, I was thinking about the Master. The only annoying thing is I think Solitude. I think Subtlety is just too good, and might be. Like, if I get to 4 mana, Subtlety is just better than Master of Waves. Or I guess Master of Waves is better at 4 mana, but I already have like a 4-drop in my deck. Or maybe I shouldn't think of it like that. Maybe I should just max out on Subtlety and like pitch Master of Waves when it's too expensive. Anyway, Master of the Pearl Trident, Trickster, Silver Gill Adept, Solitude. You do not have enough white cards in this deck for this. I'm sure of it. I'm going to take a wild guess. You do not have enough white cards. You have 3, 6, 10. Not enough. Not even close. Blue-White Merfolk with Elemental Power. You have Prismatic. You do have Prismatic Ending. So don't play with Solitude because you just can't run this card. Getting to 5 mana is like pretty close to impossible. Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't be too harsh. I would take it down to I would take it down to Solitude. I would take it down to Solitude and up. Let's say you have too many big cards. This one, Thassa's Deep Dwelling at this point is not going to be very good either. So get rid of 1 Solitude. If you want to run it like a super. I think that there shouldn't be any Solitudes in the deck. I also don't think there should be any Unsettled Mariners. I hate this card. This card is an abomination. So you should play with... What are we missing? Cards are definitely... We have no Tide Shaper. Take out Unsettled Mariner and a Thassa Deep Dwelling for 4 Tide Shaper. Because you don't have Tide Shaper, then the Island Walk is like pointless. Take out 1 Solitude and the last Thassa's Deep Dwelling for an extra Subtlety and Svelun. There you go, you got a deck. Unsettled Mariner just does not do what you want it to do, okay? This is settled. Okay, if you want to play with a card that will protect your creatures, play with Kira. Take out 3 Unsettled Mariner, play with 3 Kira Great Glass Spinner. That works. That works. It's just a hard counter to anything that you play. Just a hard counter. But, yeah, I'd be very suspicious if this actually works. But then again, hey, we're playing with 22 lands with Glasspool Shore. Maybe you can get to 5 mana. Maybe it works. Maybe it does work. How many white sources do you have? This should be a white source. This is sort of a white source. You should play, instead of Unclaimed Territory, you should play with, what's it called? Something Coast. I'm trying to dig deep into my memory. Help me, fam. Help me, chat. What am I trying to think of? I can't remember. Something Coast. I think it's Coast. Seachrome Coast. That's right. Seachrome Coast, that's it. And now, why do we want to play with Seachrome Coast? Because this card cannot cast your Prismatic Ending. This card is never going to cast your Solitude. So you do want actual white mana. And ideally, actually, you should be having some fetch lands in here so you can get your islands against Blood Moon decks. I actually don't think you have enough... So maybe, ideally, these are fetch lands and you have 2, like, Hollow Fountains. 4, and then you'd have, like, 4 islands, 4 fetch lands to find islands, and that would work. And I don't know, put a sideboard in here. You got no sideboard. I might make my own Blue-White Merfolk deck, though, so we'll see what happens in the next coming days. Alright, that's how I'd fix your deck. Good luck with it. Ruckix! You're fucking cheating the system somehow. I see you every week. What is this? Modern Perspectives. On the worst website to show for Decklist review, deckstats.net. Absolutely the worst of the worst sites. Dog shit. I don't know, is Deckstats even listening to me? Is anyone here working for deckstats.net? I heard they're good on stats, but their user interface is just complete trash. It's absolutely, I know I'm a broken record about this, but who does this? Shows a tiny picture of the card and decides in big, sort of awkward blocky letters the Oracle text on the side. All right, cast out. What's the format, by the way? It's modern. Okay. We have a cast out. We have a new Perspectives. When new Perspectives enter the battlefield, draw 3 cards. As long as you have 7 or more cards in hand, you may pay 0 rather than pay cycling costs. Interesting. So you need a lot of cards in your hand when this thing comes out. Utopia Sprawl. It's an enchantment. Haze of Pollen. Oh god. Renewed Faith. Oh god. Shadow of the Grave. Return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. Oh god. Approach of the Second Sun. Was this our win condition? Edge of Autumn. If you control 4 or fewer lands, search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped and shuffle your library. Chef and Monitor. Whenever you cycle Chef and Monitor, you may search your library for a basic land card or a desert card, put it on the battlefield and draw. Vizier of Tumbling Sands. How the fuck do you net cards? Yeah, my biggest problem with new perspectives is, like, you're never going to have 7 cards in your hand by the time you cast this. You're going to have no cards in hand. Well, I mean, I guess you'll have 3. You have, like, 3 to 4. How do you win? And are you playing in a modern environment that has rules where you're not allowed to play with 1-drops and you're not allowed to play with net decks or something? Because there is no way this works. You know, I don't mean to sound like a negative Nancy here, but holy crap, this is way too clunky. Gaining 6 life is going to mean nothing versus an Inkmoth Nexus equipped with a hammer. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. Well, you only have 4 of them, though. And you don't have that much mana. Like, you almost never have the mana. What's Edge of Autumn do again? If you control 4 or fewer lands, search your library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped and shuffle. And you can cycle, sacrifice a land, discard this card, draw a card. To be fair, it is named deckstats.net, not visually appealing with intuitiveinterface.net. I have no... Do you have any notes here? Deck stats forum, starting hand, probably discussion. Details! No, this is not what I was looking for. You pray your opponent to be mana screwed, then you pray for approach 1% of the time. It works every time. What does this do again? Untap another target permanent. When you cycle Vizier of Tumbling Sands, untap target permanent. You know, I rarely want to say, like, oh, this is impossible, but this actually looks impossible. Like, I don't know what I'm fixing here. Like, I don't even know how you can even reliably win with this deck. You literally need to be playing against opponents that don't really play tier modern decks, because this will get ripped to shreds. What do we got on the sideboard here? I think you should have... Okay, I mean, if I could help you, you should have more creatures that can cycle in the main deck. So you at least could, like, I don't know, beat the fuck down with them. Maybe you could win with the creatures. But even then, it, like, makes... I don't think this is going to help enough. You're spending too much time just not interacting on the board. You're going to cast Haze of Pollen more than you're going to cycle it, and then you're going to run out of cards, and then you're going to die. Oh, is this a standard deck? Sometimes you can mutate a standard deck into modern. Some, but usually that's always the best ones, like the tier 0 standard decks. What about the 1-drop Fog Fox? 1-drop Cycling Fox? I don't know what that is. At first, when I was looking at this, I thought, oh, this is going to be some sort of Enchantress deck. And then I realized, no, there's no Enchantresses in this at all. So you're saying there's a chance. Angel's Song is strictly better. Prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. Yeah, and it's legal in modern. There, we've improved the deck. Angel's Song is better than Haze of Pollen. Oh man, okay, we're getting somewhere there, chat. We're on our way. Maybe if we can marginally upgrade all these cards, we can win 5% of the time. Flourishing Fox? Whenever you cycle another card, put a +1/+1 counter on Flourishing Fox. See, now this, like this, I could get behind something like this. A deck that is just full of creatures that cycle, and maybe Flourishing Fox can, like, get buffed up. Even though this is like a... Well, it's not like a prowess creature. I mean, it's better, right? And that the counters are permanent. Still, like, Modern is a harsh environment for this card, though. A lot of removal. It's a cool card, though. Good card. What's the win condition with this? Apparently, it's approach with of the second sun. How this deck thinks that it can gain control any other way, I have no idea. And you have one win condition, too. You just have one. I guess the idea is you get new perspectives out, and somehow they think they can cycle through the whole deck for approach of the second sun and then win. But it's just not going to happen. Oh, Spencer, is this your deck? I wasn't sure if Angel Song and Haze of Pollen was overkill. I went with Haze because it was green and the mana base is centered around green for Utopia Sprawl. Sorry, Spencer, this is one of your stinkers. And there's no... I can't really fix this because it's not even remotely competitive in the first place. Yeah, this is deck list review to deck roast review. You need counter spells like Censor or even... Oh, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah, counter spells like Censor at least might delay the game a little bit better than like Haze of Pollen. And it's like... overall, like when you get this thing out... Well, how does this work? You can pay 0 instead of paying the cycling costs. But you don't even have... You have so many non-cyclers. Like, this doesn't cycle. 23 lands don't cycle. So, like, 50% of your deck basically doesn't cycle. You're gonna, like... You're gonna run out quickly. Even if you get to 7 cards in hand. This cycles. This doesn't cycle either. There's actually very few cyclers in your deck. This one has cycling. This has cycling. This has cycling. Anyway. Sorry, Spencer. Not this deck. Not this deck. I can't do anything for this deck. If you said it was standard, maybe there's some hope. But it's modern. It's like imagine taking this to Legacy. I mean, I see, or to Vintage. I see it in that same capacity. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, that's going to be it for Decklist. That's going to be it for Coffee and MTG today. If I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck lists, hey, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you love the channel, you want to support the channel, and you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv, become a patron at patreon.com, or hit the join button on YouTube like some fine people have done. So as usual, thank you very much for making me a part of your daily routine, showing up for Coffee and MTG. So keep brewing up those coffees, keep brewing up those questions in your mind, and we'll keep brewing up magic. Take care, and I will see you next time.